This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. Last time we got together with her, we got more clarity on this amazing thing called Reiki, which has been around for many, 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 many years. This is how people healed way back in the day, and learned a lot last time we got together with her. We're going to dive deeper into energy healing and all of the other things that it actually supports, things that I forget about, things I didn't even realize. And I've done, let me clarify that. I've had Reiki done. I don't make it sound like I'm a Reiki master or a teacher, but she is, and she's back with us. Andrea Bell joins us on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Fantastic. Fantastic. And I used that word clarity a moment ago. I do remember a time where I had Reiki and I got clarity. I really did. Do other people tell you that as well?
Absolutely. Reiki does a brain balance as part of the session, and that helps with left-right brain balance. And I'm also very energetically in tune with the body's energy. I can see the sine curve of the energy, as you will, and so I do a little extra in balancing, and people tell me that brain fog goes away. People who have ADHD, it just calms the mind so that they can think again.
So before we delve back into what we talked about last time and then move from that point, got to ask this question. So is it going to give you clarity if you're looking for clarity? What do I mean by that? I've often heard that Reiki the energy will go in and go where it needs to go. So let's say you got a challenge and you're just trying to get a fix on the situation, and you're not really right there, and you're kind of foggy and all of that. When you give Reiki to someone, would the energy realize that, oh, this person needs it here or wherever, and it would give them the clarity that they might be looking for?
Oh, okay. I understand what you're asking. Yes, it will. Reiki is unique in that wherever I give energy, if it's needed somewhere else in the body, it will go to that place and heal the body in that region without any effort on either of our parts. It'll just go where it's needed.
I don't know if I shared this, but I had Reiki on a Sunday, and on Monday I had a little personal thing going on. And on a Monday, I woke up and I'm like, oh, I see it, like I see through the forest now. And the trees went away, and now I see the situation for what it is and what I needed to know. And I thought, oh, I must have got some good sleep last night. And then I stopped. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I had Reiki. And that is what it was. It gave me clarity. It was the weirdest thing, waking up and seeing things in focus. Why don't you share with us some of the things that we talked about regarding Reiki last time we got together?
Well, in my sessions, I combine Reiki with pranic healing, which is another energy healing source. And then I also do spiritual coaching. So I work on the mind, body, spirit, the physical body, all of that. It's all combined, and blocks in one area can affect something else. And I will use a combination of any of those as I'm guided to by my spirit guides to help the person. And usually it involves Reiki for the physical body, and it also helps the mental, emotional. But if there are a lot of traumas, I will incorporate pranic healing, because I feel like that modality is very focused on healing a lot of trauma, and it does it in a kind and gentle way so that it brings things to the surface for the person to heal without necessarily having to relive everything, and it will do it in a speed that the person can handle. And so what I would do is initially assess. I would do a scan over the person and all of their bodies, the mental, physical, and emotional. And then I would remove any energetic blocks to those areas. And once I've done that, then I would hone in on the areas that I've identified and do some physical healing or some mental emotional healing, balance the chakras, um, and then go into some spiritual counseling to kind of go hand in hand with the Reiki or the pranic healing that I've done.
That's what makes you radically different. And there's many Reiki practitioners, Reiki masters out there. And that's all good, but you take it steps further with the spiritual counseling in that once you've helped somebody, given them the right kind of energy, the positive energy, cleared some maybe stuck energy, then you can direct them on another level to help move their life forward or achieve goals or whatever it might be. Um, can you recall a time, maybe even recently, where you work with somebody and this is all confidential. You know, nobody, we're not saying names or anything here, where you encountered somebody that had, oh my God, a lot of stuck energy, maybe in one particular chakra. Anything come to mind?
Well, can I use your example if you don't mind
Please
from
go.
the last session?
Sure.
Sure. Last time I talked to you, I did an initial assessment and I did scan you. You didn't have anything really crazy, but I did find a a block that was actually mental, emotional, and physical. It was in your throat chakra, and that was causing issues to your health, and also causing some. It was the result of some trauma in your life, and so I looked at that and I talked to you about that, and you identified, yes, that's exactly what's going on without going into detail.
I'm happy to share detail because I think it's amazing and you nailed it. Um, I had skin cancer, mid-level. I've been dealing with it forever. At the lowest level, this presented itself out of nowhere, and in like 10 weeks, I had something growing on my neck, substantial in size. Um, had it removed, it was all good. But I'm convinced that it was connected to my throat chakra, or there is a connection. And that was my body's way of saying, hello, we have, stuck energy here. Why do I feel that way? Because my mom, that's 8 years ago or so, had the same exact situation on the other side of her neck. And I know for a fact that throat chakra, there's things that she kept inside and didn't get to really express regarding a family situation. I know it. And I'd have to say, same situation for me. I don't think there's a coincidence that she had the same type of cancer in the same spot, essentially on the neck. That, you could say, well, it's hereditary. No, it's not going to show up that way, especially in the same spot. No, I'm convinced it's throat chakra related. And there you are. Oh, by the way, I forgot one other impactful part here, and I don't mean to belabor this, but I think it's important. A few months before this cancer thing developed, I lost my voice. I've never, ever. And I was, in bed. I had some kind of virus, never get sick. Lost my voice. I think that's the universe's way of saying that something's going on in terms of stuck energy within the throat chakra. Those are the facts. What are your feelings?
I feel like you're absolutely right. When we tend to push our feelings and emotions aside and not address them, the you know the universe has a way of saying, okay, you need to sit down and address this, and we're gonna force you to do that by making you lose your voice, which is your bread and butter. So you're gonna take notice when that happens.
Yeah, you're right. And it was the universe's way of saying, you need to take some time for yourself because I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And work, just couldn't really do anything. So question, when you perform, let's say you clear out somebody's throat chakra or whatever, you clear out the energy completely in somebody's body.
Hmm.
And maybe a couple of weeks later, they are confronted with a personal situation, whatever it might be. Is it possible that energy could get stuck again that fast after being cleared out?
Absolutely. And that's why I recommend the spiritual coaching along with it, because I
Mm,
can clear your energy in that chakra all day long, but until you address the root problem, you're going to continue to have those issues.
Hmm. It's a really great point because the root cause is essentially where all of this comes from.
Yes.
Things that hold us back, challenges, many believe, from the childhood. It happened long ago, these beliefs that we have. Um, can you do Reiki on yourself?
Yes, you can, absolutely. And I do it all the time.
Do you target areas or do you just do an overall Reiki cleansing?
I always start with an overall cleansing before I do the work, because you can push dirty energy into the body if your um, outer bodies are not clean. So I do that first, and then I start to work on the chakras, etc. And I can usually feel where it is. Now, if it's something major, I may want to have another practitioner work on it if I'm too close to the issue.
Hmm.
But for the most part, I've grown to the point where I'm able to separate myself from the problem so that I can work on myself as if I were a client.
It's fascinating. I know people that Reiki their water.
Yes, you can absolutely do that. Water holds energy. I don't know if you follow any podcasts, but I can't even remember the guy's name that did the studies on the water
Yep.
and the energy that it holds. It actually holds God energy. And if you've listened to any of the, um, I can't think what they're called, about the autistic kids and their mental abilities. I can't think what those tapes are called, but in there they do talk about the God energy being in the water. So I not only Reiki my water, but I set intentions in my water, and when I drink my water, um, then it has all that in it. So any intention I want to have, say I want to have more willpower in my diet, then I put that energy into my water, and you can drink it. And you can also cleanse your water with Reiki. You can cleanse any of your food, in fact, with Reiki before you eat it. And that's similar to
Hmm.
praying. So if you know anyone who's religious, they pray before they eat, and that's a way of blessing your food or clearing the energy from it before you eat it.
Well, I never thought of it that way. I'm thinking more of a gratitude. Thank you for the food that we have, but I never thought of
Yes.
clearing the energy. And what are your thoughts on this? So let's say you're having chicken, you're having steak.
Hmm.
I've heard some believe that Reiki is impactful because if the animal where the meat came from was dealing with a challenging situation, maybe not the greatest conditions, just leave it at that. That energy is now going in your body, passed on through what you're eating. What are your thoughts on that?
That's absolutely correct. If the animal experienced any trauma at all in their living conditions, then that can be carried through in the meat. And by doing Reiki, that clears the trauma from that meat before you eat it. And it's not only gratitude when you pray or do Reiki, it's also a cleansing. So it's both.
It's fascinating. And for those who think it's woo, I understand. I get where you're coming from. But all we're talking about here is energy. You just said when you pray. So, that being said, what are you doing when you're praying or praying for someone? You're sending positive energy to them with this thing called a prayer. If you don't want to call it a prayer, just say, sending positive vibrations to you. Hope that surgery is going to go well. Good luck on that job interview, whatever it might be. You're sending positive energy, i.e., kind of like Reiki, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you knew this, but the nuns also perform Reiki, and they call it healing hands, and it's very similar to a prayer. but their intent is to heal. And that's the whole gist of it, is that you are pulling in God energy, universal energy, whatever you want to call it, and sending it with intent.
Hmm.
And then afterwards, you want to give gratitude. That's a key part of it.
So you mentioned something medically connected just a moment ago. Is it true that you do Reiki for pre and post surgical procedures?
I do, and that's one of my biggest sessions that I um, that I do for people. I have a three-part session that I do, which includes a pre-clearing before the surgery. So the day before the surgery, I will clear the person, the operating staff, the room. I'll set the intent that they all get a good night's sleep, and clear all their personal energy to make sure that they're in the best state they can possibly be in. I clear the room, and I also do something special for some clients who have surgery PTSD, which is common in people with um, multiple surgeries. And I also have people who just have general anxiety at being in medical facilities. I will do a um, kind of like a calming procedure for them that is very good for putting them in the right mind for the best surgery. I will clear them, clear all their energy, and I also do something that slows the bleeding down so that they'll have less blood loss during the surgery. The day of the surgery, I may give them another quick run through to make sure nothing has changed and clear that. And as soon as I have noticed from a loved one that they're out of surgery, I'll do a cleaning of them, because what I find is through surgery, a lot of people come out and they have like this gray energy all over their body, and I'm not sure what causes that. Something in the process. Maybe it's the anesthesia or some of the medications that they give them. I don't know, but I clear that out, and that drastically improves the healing process. And I will do that again the day after surgery. Just go through and check in, and if there's any inflammation or anything like that, I clear that and do another quick clean. And I've had really good success with people. I had one breast cancer patient. Um, she had a surgery. I can't remember which one of the three it was, but she had a series of three surgeries, and one of her surgeries I did clearing before, during, and after. And the day after her surgery, she went on a short hike. It wasn't a long hike, but she was able to hike the day after breast surgery. That's amazing.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
To further illustrate how impactful this is, doctors have people do Reiki in the surgical suite before they do surgery on the
Exactly.
patient and also themselves. The medical
Yeah.
community, is aware of this because it works. I'm going to pivot from there over to something else that's energy related, and it's something else that's in your wheelhouse. House cleanings or clearings of energy. You do that. Tell us about that.
Yes, I do that as well. And I have some really amazing stories of house clearings. The really, I think the most I don't know, the best story I have is about a house on the East Coast, and they had a daughter who is intuitive, and the parents are they're a little bit intuitive, but the daughter's really intuitive, and she was complaining about spirits in the home. And this house is massive. It's an historical home, and I went in and I did this remotely, checked the house, cleared everything that energetically, and then I went in and told them, what entities were in the home, and they were like, "Well, we want to keep some of them."
Yeah, what does that mean?
That means they didn't want me to clear all the entities from the home,
Entities meaning energetic entities, not possessions.
like people
People. People
who've,
that
who've
not here in this dimension.
people who've passed on.
Gotcha.
And so I went through and told them who was in the house. And they said, clear all but these two. So I did that. And I cleared the home and set up protection around their property so that nothing else would come back in. And I did a session with the daughter as well she's very young, to talk to her about what was happening and how to do some protection for herself,
Wow.
in a way that she could understand. And then, but the two that they wanted to keep in the house, I'll go back to that. The one, the one was the builder of the home. He built the home for his daughter and her husband, and the husband was a business partner of his. And he liked to hang out in the library of the home. And he was just a calm guy. He was a very benevolent guy. He did a lot for the community, and he just really loved that home. They had a lot of parties there. The other person in the home was someone like me who's able to see spirits, and she actually did readings for a living. She lived in the 20s. A very energetic and sassy kind of 1920s girl with bright red hair. And she had taken to this little girl and was protecting her from everything else that was in the house, and was grateful that I cleared it. And she loved the house. She was not anyone who lived in the house, but she had been a friend of the family and attended many of the parties and just loved the home.
So
And
these were the
so she
people that
likes to
got,
be there.
these were the two that got the okay to stay notification to you.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And,
What
and
about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, occasionally the woman will come and get me because something has breached my protection for the home, and she'll let me know, and then I'll clear it. She even came and got me and asked me to clear the cemetery in the town because there was something bad there. So I have done that for her as well.
So what if, I'm going to go hypothetical here, but I'm just kind of curious. What if you ended a relationship and you have furniture and belongings from the relationship? Let's say it didn't end well, but you took possession of some of the furniture and some of this and some of that, and for price reasons, cost reasons, you're not just going to throw it out. But it's my belief that it's a good chance that that stuff is still holding on to the negative energy from the relationship. A, do you feel the same way? B, if so, is that something you could clear out?
Yes, I feel the same way. Objects hold energy,
Mm-hmm.
and they can hold. And I actually have a story along this line. Well, that same house that I cleared, there were they brought in some furniture that was not from the original house, and it had people. That's how the breach happened from my protection. They brought in old furniture that they had not cleared, and people
Mm.
came with it. So I cleared that for them. But I have a second story where a friend of mine, she's like, I don't know what's happening. Ever since we moved in this new house, my husband and I have done nothing but fight. We thought it was going to be great. We bought this great new house. And so I said, just let me check in and I will clear the house for you. And so I saged the house. And as I was doing that, I just felt like crying. And I tuned into the woman who owned the house before them. She'd been through a terrible divorce, abusive relationship, and that energy was held in the home. So I cleared that energy from the home. And once I did that, the couple said everything was great again.
Can't make this stuff up. Why, they're not going to say it, unless it's true. And a final thought, I don't know if I ever shared this about objects holding energy. Keep this really short. I have a 25-year-old Jeep. I just use it to kayak. I say it's in hospice. It's rusting away. The engine is okay. And there were times where it would break down. I'd be driving. I'm like, you piece of junk again. Like that belt just blew. Now I got to get it towed. Like, seriously, really got it all fixed. And I started being positive. Like, I love you. Thank you. We had a great day. Thanks for taking me to the beach and letting me kayak. Thanks for, no issues whatsoever. You're running really well. I really love you. Thank you. I have not had any issues with that Jeep in the longest time.
Yes, that's
Coincidence?
absolutely something.
I don't think so.
So I had a friend call me who knew that I had the ability to work on objects as well. He called me. I broke down in the middle of the highway, and we have a major interstate near us. And he said, I am holding up traffic. My car stopped. What should I do? Can you come and get me? I said, well, let me check into it. So I tuned into the car and did some Reiki on. I found out which parts of the car were having issues, and I tuned into the car and did some Reiki on those parts. I said, try it again. And he started it, and it started right up, and he was able to drive home.
And she's an auto mechanic as well, ladies and gentlemen. An energy mechanic. Andrea, what's the best way to find you, even just to start a conversation?
Well, anybody can call me. My phone is 937-620-2610. It does go to voicemail unless I have you in my phone database, because I want to make sure that I'm taking care of the clients I'm with. So just leave me a message and I'll get back to you. You can also email me at energeticwellnessllc@yahoo.com. I'm also on Facebook, and my Facebook name is Energetic Wellness. And I have a TikTok. It's at Energetic Wellness 111. And I give away some free advice. I talk a lot about relationships and twin flames and that sort of thing. So if you have interest in any of that, I kind of go all over the place with a little bit of this and a little bit of that there. So tune in, and you can contact me through there as well, through the messaging.
And for that, we love you, because you're all over the place and in a good way. Even the twin flame thing, if we had more time, would love to get into that. I've heard things about it. Yeah, you run deep. And by the way, all of this virtual. We're talking about the house clearing, virtual. And the other part I just want to share, you're helping people move their life forward, become unstuck. You don't need to know the details. We all got stuff going on. We all got stories going on. It's not like you're going to be able to tap into somebody's situation and know what's going on in their life unless they want to share it. You're going to go and find energy stuck in certain spots and clear it out. And that's a game changer for all of us. Andrea, thank you so much for being here again. Best way, just give us that. It's the link tree.
Well, you can get to my link tree through my TikTok.
Okay.
And there's a link to that right there. So go to that, and I'm in the process of updating it, but I hope to have expanded it soon. And you can contact me for sure by my phone.
Thank you for all the insight. I love it. You bring and I've done lots of podcasts on Reiki and Reiki masters. And it's all good. You're different. You run deep, especially with the spiritual counseling side of thing, or coaching. Thank you for being here again today.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back.
All right, take care.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect. This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.